Last year for NBA fans, the biggest debate everyone had is who is the MVP. And when it came down to it, it was a three-man race between Embiid, Giannis, and Jokic. And putting our feelings aside about who the actual winner was, one thing I thought fans did a really good job of was not hyping up these talks to around mid-January or early February, as having MVP debates less than 25 games in the year is flat out stupid, and having those talks less than 15 games in is basically pointless. So with that out of the way, I want to look at Jay Williams, who already in game number 10 had declared Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant the top two MVP leaders.
So he's the reigning MVP. Right now, who looks like the MVP this year?
I mean, right now, I think it's between Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant. I mean, KD's been averaging crazy points. They were prolific last night. But Jason Tatum's game has gone to a different level. And he's doing a lot more pick and rolls. He's splitting pick and rolls. I mean, obviously, his game is just coming around. And I got to say it, you know, at the first game of the season, when we saw Giannis and we saw Dame, I still do think there is less redundancy in their game. It seems like they have the potential and ceiling to be more compatible. But Boston's the best team in the league right now.
So stopping it right there, if we're going to have these debates, have these rankings, I'm going to treat this like an actual debate of who the MVP should be. And looking at Kevin Durant first off, him being a top two candidate at this point, please just stop saying that and pump the brakes. As Phoenix at this point is a 500 team and the 9th seed in the Western Conference, tied with the Pelicans. And look, KD to his credit has been balling out and playing fantastic even at age 35. Averaging 30 points, second highest in the NBA, 7 boards, 5 assists on crazy shooting splits. And being down Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, KD for the most part kept Phoenix above water for the meantime. But look, if you're going to be a top 2, top 5 candidate for MVP, your overall record can't be the 9th seed in your own conference. And throwing records out the window, just looking at individual play, in KD's own conference, he's the best candidate to an MVP. As so far, Jokic is averaging 30 points per game, up from last year, 14 boards, the highest in the NBA, 9 assists on nearly 60% shooting. And Jokic, just like Kevin Durant, with Jamal Murray out, has been 4-2, keeping Denver well above water. Now, unlike Kevin Durant, Jokic's overall numbers compared to the entire NBA are just top tier, top 1 level. As so far, Jokic has 5 triple-doubles in 12 games, the most in the NBA, and a double-double in every single game. And compared to his peers, he's top 5 in scoring, rebounds, and assists, the only player in the entire NBA, top 5 in all of those categories. And if you're really into advanced numbers, advanced metrics, Jokic so far this year leads the NBA in offensive win shares in general, win shares average, box plus minus, defensive plus minus, offensive box plus minus, and value over replacement player. Stats-wise, Jokic compared to Kevin Durant is 10 times better. And even comparing Jokic to his past MVPs and last year, he's improved drastically in nearly all areas. And one of my big-time problems with the pro-KD media, he constantly gets put in these debates at the top of these rankings simply because he's Kevin Durant and has the resume and the prestige. I mean, Perkins just last week said Kevin Durant is the best offensive player in the entire NBA off resume. Look, people, stop living in 2017, it's almost 2024. And speaking of Kendrick Perkins, like all these ESPN talking heads, you gotta consider the source with the MVP talks. As someone like Jay Williams, he's quite literally the KD whisperer. As for ESPN, he was the co-host of Kevin Durant's own show. A lot of these media figures, these prominent talking heads, have a lot of bias and incentive to prop up certain players. Now, looking at Jay Williams' MVP frontrunner, he had Jason Tatum. Now, before we dive into this, what did Tatum and Jay Williams have in common? They're both Duke guys. So again, Jay Williams, a slight bias, slight favor to someone like Tatum. As stats-wise this year, Tatum, compared to last year, is slightly worse, averaging 28 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, on minorly improved shooting splits. I mean, even comparing Tatum to himself, he hasn't improved drastically in the stats department. Now, watching the actual games, yes, Tatum looks a lot better and has improved. But in terms of being the MVP, these type of numbers, while great, aren't Jokic level, Embiid level, or even Luka Doncic level. And one thing you have to factor in majorly is Tatum's overall team. Yes, they have the best record in the NBA, and most people's view is the best team. But looking at Boston, I would also argue they're the deepest team, and Tatum has the most help of any superstar, as his 2 through 5, even 2 through 7, is simply off the wall. Having Jaylen Brown, Zingas, Drew Holiday, and Derek White. Boston's 2 through 5 is the best in the entire NBA. And looking at the Eastern Conference, the weaker of these conferences, Boston unquestionably should be dominating. And one debate NBA fans have been pushing a little bit is Tatum versus Luka. And again, as much as I love Tatum, it's Luka Doncic all day. As comparing the two, Luka Doncic averages more points, assists, boards, are better from the field, as well as 3. And to add some very important context, Luka in the West is tied for first with the Denver Nuggets. And he's doing that with really only one All-Star teammate, that being Kyrie Irving. Simply put, Luka's over level of play is much higher, his help drastically worse, and his conference slightly better. The only way I see Tatum winning MVP is if Embiid gets hurt, Luka gets hurt, and somehow Jokic falls all the way down to the 8th seed. Then maybe, just maybe, Tatum could sneak away with the MVP. And the last thing I do want to kind of debunk is Jay Williams saying Tatum, compared to last year, is a different player on a different level. Look, that may be true. It is true. But for these debates, we're not comparing Tatum this year to Tatum last year. We're comparing Tatum to Jokic, Embiid, and those top tier stars. And if you want to be honest about it, Jokic compared to last year is also drastically better. And even someone like Ant Edwards, Minnesota being a top 3 seed, the leap he's taken, that doesn't make Ant Edwards the runaway MVP. Because again, we're not comparing Ant to Ant, we're comparing Ant to the entire NBA. So look, that is the end of the video. And like I said to open it, MVP debates right now are basically pointless. For example, less than 5 days ago, Steph Curry, his Golden State team, was riding high a top 5 seed with him playing fantastic. Skip forward less than 5 days and Steph Curry, he's injured, Golden State's fallen off, and the overall team's chemistry has plummeted drastically. Again, I think going to prove these debates are basically pointless at this time this season. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.